Good morning, Drinking Mommies. I'm Whitney, founder of the group Drinking Mommies, and you are joining us for our podcast, The Drinking Mommies Show, where our main topic today is going to be surviving the coronavirus. And joining me is fellow Drinking Mommy, Amber.
Hello.
So, our show today is going to be broken up into two segments. Our first one is going to be covering parenting news, followed up by our main topic. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. So
Awesome.
Our first story for the night is going to be feeding children during school closures. As everyone knows, there are a lot of children in the United States who fall either at or just below the poverty line. According to the School Nutrition Association, when the schools are closed, over 30 million students are at risk for not being fed. Now, that's some pretty concerning numbers. For those of you who don't, yeah, right? For those of you who don't know, the USDA estimates that there are over 20 million free school meals a day that are served to low-income children. Between 2018 to 2019 alone, more than 1.5 million public school students experienced homelessness. That's right. You have 1.5 million students in the United States who are attending school and who are, by legal definition, homeless. Isn't that mind-blowing?
That's just sad.
It really is. And what's even sadder is that the USDA also says that only 2.6 million students get food during the summer food program. So what that means is that the USDA has a program where children can eat during the summer. When schools are closed, sometimes that's the only meal they get. And so of that, we have, all of these kids in the United States who are going without meals. So why does that matter? It matters because every single school is closed in the United States right now. And when you have to consider the amount of the population, which is over 300 million people, you are dealing with a large percentage, like we said before, 30 million plus, who are not getting the food that they need. And it boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Amber, I'm sure you've heard it. I've heard it. There are people out there who are judging, saying, well, it's on the parents to feed their kids, right? What are your thoughts on this?
Some parents can go out there and try their best, but even myself, I was a single mom at one point. You don't always get approved for food stamps to get help. You can work as many hours as they let you, but to keep a roof over your kid's head, you still have to pay your rent. You still have to pay your utilities. You still have to pay your electric and all of that. And once that's all said and done, who says there's extra money for food?
Well, and I think that you bring up a good point too with the programs that are offered by the government. A big one is WIC. And with all of these people who are hoarding food right now being
I have WIC.
Yeah. So as you know, there are certain foods that you are allowed to buy on WIC.
Yep.
And so when you have these people hoarding in the grocery stores, they are clearing out the things that you are approved to get on the WIC program. And if those items are out, it's not like you can substitute it with other items.
It's in the system. It won't scan. And the managers can no longer override it now that they switched over to the debit cards, because they haven't had the bread that is allowed for WIC basically since all this started.
See, and that's what's so ridiculous and that people need to understand. When you're clearing out the grocery stores, not only are you being selfish, for one, by hoarding, because it's not like the government ever said that they're closing down the grocery stores or the shipping services to stock the grocery stores. but you are also taking food out of the mouths of people who are on government programs such as WIC.
Yes.
So,
And I've spoken to some people that work at our local Walmart, and how there was a lot of people complaining about, well, why can't they just order more toilet paper? Why can't they just order more this? Everything is based off of a system with Walmart where their inventory is based off of everything that is scanned through the system. They
right.
don't go in and personally put in inventory orders in. It is based off of the system that it runs off of now. They can no longer go in and put an extra order in. So the elderly that can't get to the store quick enough or higher risk at going to the store, and those who can only shop at certain hours because of work, if they still get to work, they don't make it in time, everything's gone by the time they get there.
Exactly. And so that's one thing that people need to understand is that we have a lot of our population who is in dire need of these lunches. And so a lot of the schools
Mm-hmm.
right now, my son's school included, are providing meals not just to the students of their schools because they are closed right now, but also to all minors in the household. And you know what really sucks, Amber? And I literally just got this email yesterday from my son's school, is they have to actually implement a security measure because you had people going around to multiple schools within our local school district who were taking lunches. So instead of just getting what they needed for their families, they would show up to one elementary school and then they'd show up to another elementary school and then the high
Basically
school.
taking food out of other children's mouths.
Exactly. And
I
so,
just got the call today that because of all of this, that Governor Ivey here in Alabama has implemented like that the next 2 weeks is about to like be a peak here,
right.
that they have had forced to cancel said school lunches for our students here in this local area.
What? In
Now
Alabama?
yep, they will no longer be able to pass out lunches.
Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. I didn't even know that.
Yep, I got the
Wow.
call today.
See, and once again, you're going to have all of these families at risk. And, you know, I know the big caveat is people say, oh, well, what do they do during the summer? Well, like I said, USDA has a summer food program that helps. But you
Mm-hmm.
also have those local government programs or federal programs like WIC. But the problem is that it doesn't work if people are hoarding and being greedy and selfish. Same thing with these school lunch programs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people need to understand, is that they are not functioning as they should because people are being greedy. Like, stop it.
Yeah, Walmart, I know here and surrounding areas have put up signs, and they have buggies out and caution tape, and they're trying to, some Walmarts, I know the one in Decatur that's next to us down over, they won't allow children inside. It's one person per family. Our personal Walmart close to us is, you know, they're not quite as strict yet, but they are watching people as they come in and monitoring everything more. You're only allowed 1 pound of hamburger per family, 1 gallon of milk per family, 1 pack of bread per family. But some families, if you're like a family of 5 or more, you can't survive on 1 pound of hamburger. You can't survive
Wow.
on 1 gallon of milk. All these people who are hoarding and trying to just take everything all at once is still, even when inventory comes in, hurting other families because now there's
Right.
these super beyond strict rules. I haven't been able to buy hamburger literally this whole time. We've
You,
had chicken, and I even tried spam. It was so gross.
you gotta fry that and then have a couple shots of vodka. It makes it go down
Look,
smoother.
I put some mustard on it. I fried it. Tyler tried it with me. He's like, it's okay, but it's kind of nasty. I was like, you don't have to eat it.
At least he's honest.
I'll take some Vienna weenies over spam.
Oh yeah, any day.
Those
Any
have been
day.
sold out.
You know, and honestly, it's so you bring up another really valid point. So the government wants us to shelter in place. All of these states are starting to shelter in
Mm-hmm.
place. And if not states, it's individual cities and
Mm-hmm.
counties, right? Well, here's the thing. If you have a family of 5 or more, and you can only get a pound of hamburger. Well, that means you're going to the grocery store every freaking day. So you're not limiting your interaction with the outside world because you can't feed your family on a pound of hamburger a day. And like our local grocery stores here in Central Texas, we don't even have rice or noodles. So you can't even buy those like filler foods to supplement the lack of protein. So you're just in a terrible position.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that is a good high note to leave when it comes to children who aren't being fed and families having problems during this time.
Yeah.
With our second news story, back on March 17th, Amazon implemented some new rules for their warehouses. The biggest thing being that they are not going to allow for non-essential items to be prioritized for shipping, which, as you know, Amazon is a powerhouse of the world, right? And a lot of products are being shipped to people's homes because they don't want to keep exposing themselves at the grocery store. And what does that mean, right? Originally, this non-essential supply order from Amazon was supposed to only go until April 5th, but now that's been extended. So there are 6 essential categories that affect both the United States and the European Union. And that is baby products, health and household products, beauty and personal care, groceries, industrial and scientific products, as well as pet supplies. That also means that our Amazon Prime that we paid for is not doing its job because it is certainly taking more than 2 days for these things to arrive, even if they are essential. But that's just because they are so backed up.
It's about going to be 3 to 4 weeks because, I work from home. I am out of bubble mailers to send my product after people buy it. So I have had to make some of my own bubble mailers out of the little bubble squares that they put on the top and bottom inside the boxes. Because
that is some ingenuity right there. Also,
Amazon,
don't mind my cat in the background. He's going crazy. Yeah.
But these little bags that I get from Walmart, they have been completely sold out because of all this crafting craziness going on. But they're just the regular resealable bags, and I need some that are smaller than these 4 by 6 inch. And so I had to order it on Amazon. And trying to mail out people's products that they've already paid for and not having the supplies that I need for my business has hurt.
It does. I'm trying to launch my pet products company this summer, and I'm going to have to push back till either fall or next winter because I can't even order the USDA organic or essential oils that I need, as well as the containers. So like the aluminum reusable containers, I can't even order them right now because the factories are closed. And it sucks because you have all these pre-established businesses like yourself who are hurting now.
Yeah.
You cannot get the supplies that you need to continue operation. And, Amazon's a cornerstone for a lot of the things that we need because both themselves and Walmart take up huge corners of the market.
Mm-hmm.
That too big to fail thing, remember that? Yeah. You lack diversity now. This is what happens. You get these companies that are so big and then they shut down all the smaller stores that could have shipped. Well, they're not around anymore. So that's another thing to consider.
Here in Little Moulton, we just have Walmart and an old Foodland. And I'm more disappointed every time I go to Foodland because they never have what I need.
Oh gosh, that's
so I don't have a choice
here.
but to shop at Walmart. We don't have another store here.
No, it's only the big ones.
But I mean, I've learned of a few farms that sell straight off their farm. So I'm going to be looking into that, of course, after all this is over with. But
right, for sure. Well, and this is going to be a time for new companies to step forward and be like, okay, this is where Amazon failed. This is where Walmart failed. And that's when you're going to get ingenuity. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious to see who comes out, of the ashes of this, because it is a good time to start up. If you see the gaps in the system and you can fill the void, I think it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we are going to move on, ladies, into our main topic of the night, which is, of course, surviving the coronavirus quarantine. My first point that I want to lead out with is I've seen it circling all over social media. How much do you need to stockpile for you and your family? Well, according to FEMA, you need at least 3 days. However, they recommend up to 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That shouldn't be stripping our shelves, because I know there are those of you out there who are getting more than 2 weeks of food for your family, but you know what? Now you know. No more than 2 weeks of food. So what does that equate to, right? We don't know how to gauge that. Well, according to FEMA, every person needs approximately 1 gallon of water per day. For non-perishable food items, you want to make sure that you get items that can last you for those 2 weeks, right? If you're buying everything that's a fridge or a freezer, guess what? Once it hits 40 degrees Fahrenheit, that stuff goes bad for you. So buying stuff like rice and beans and canned fruits and vegetables, that's good. But once again, only 2 weeks. Now, this next point, Amber, is going to hit close to home for me because this is a big pet peeve of mine. The dang toilet paper. I have gone to Costco. So I kid you not, to all of our listeners, I used to go to Costco every 2 weeks to buy the big household essential items as well as the stuff I need for my pets and meat, because my family is keto. So it's a lot cheaper to buy. I am so lucky that I hit up Costco before this madness hit, or else I'd be out of luck when it comes to toilet paper and paper towels. So I'm going to blow your minds out there with some stats. Okay, you ready? So Costco sells a 30 pack of toilet paper, right? 30 pack of toilet paper. You know what that equates to? For a family of 15, which, unless you're getting it on like rabbits, there ain't no families of 15 out there. Guess what? That 30 pack from Costco would last a family of 14 days, Amber. 14 days. So all of you
Unless
out
they're
there,
wrapping it around their hand several times.
or TPing the neighborhood, like who knows, you don't need like 3 to 4 30 packs from Costco, because guess what? One person, Amber, one person goes through approximately half a roll a week. That's it. Half a roll a week.
Men don't even use that much toilet paper.
Yeah, they only go when they go number 2. That's when they use it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real here. So,
I mean, I have Zach and 3 boys, one of them which is staying home, my stepson, just because of everything. We don't want him going back and forth different areas all the time. But I mean, we don't go through that much toilet paper. I'm the one who uses it the most.
right.
And my papa used to threaten me when I was little, if I used more than 4 squares, I would get beat.
You're like, that gets difficult during certain times of the month, Papa.
Well, that was when I was really little. So, I mean, okay. I use a little bit more now, but it's made me more cautious.
Right.
Yes. But of course, Zach, he, with all his traveling and at hotels all the time, he snatches a roll here and there.
You gotta do. I have not found toilet paper in the stores for, I kid you not, 3 weeks.
My mom and I went to Sam's Club and no toilet paper, no paper towels, no meat whatsoever. We got some fresh produce. We got some cereal. And I mean, that was it.
Right.
Sam's Club was
That's how Costco's been too. I mean, I went to Costco about 2 weeks ago, and I was able to get some things in their frozen food section, like some bacon and whatnot. But I mean, it's pretty bad when the lamb is out. Since when is lamb ever sold out? But it was. And it was so frustrating because there was this gentleman. Now, I'm not even going to call him gentleman. There was this asshole who was waiting for this hamburger, right? So Costco's sitting there and they're grinding their hamburger. And they had a sign saying that in approximately like 10 minutes or something like that, this hamburger was going to come out. So this guy's sitting there and there's like this whole pack of people and I'm like probably 2 rows back. And they put out approximately, I don't know, a dozen to 20 of their big like hamburger packs. It's like 5+ pounds, right? This one dude grabs 5 of them and pushes this little couple out of the way. And I was so frustrated at Costco because it's like, literally, you're not going to limit this? They were limiting the most random things in their store, but the hamburger was not one of them. So 5 pounds each. He grabbed like 5 of them. What's he going to do with 25 pounds of hamburger?
Unless you are literally going to feed the homeless or like help families in need, you don't need that.
And that's how it is. Like,
one of my friends literally was begging for cans of Vienna weenies from stores, like asking people, if you see these, we're going to, because like my church does every first Saturday or something like that, where they go and help feed people who are in need. Mm-hmm. And with Vienna weenies being one of the only things that they figured that they could find, and they can't even find that.
Right. Everything is so strict right now. It really is. And so,
I've been eating more rice lately, which is really bad because I'm supposed to be on keto as well.
Hey, there's only so much you can do during these times, though.
My face is so broke out from this diet change that I feel like I'm back in high school again.
Well, that's how we are too. These 1 carton of egg nonsense on the keto diet. It's like, okay, first of all, I mean, I'm going to call out some people right now because most people do not cook every night, right? So what are all these people doing with this food? I can only imagine how much stuff is being thrown out right now because it's going bad. Because people aren't used to cooking. Mm-hmm. And that's also one of the frustrating things for us because it's like, I don't believe that you guys need 25 pounds of hamburger. I don't even think you have the room in your freezer for that. So what's happening with all this food? People. But there is also good in people. There are good things out there. So moving on from the food and the stockpiling issues of the coronavirus quarantine, we do have some other stuff too.
Yes.
So right now we have kids, right, who are stuck at home, and there's a lot of us parents out there who are having to deal with homeschooling.
It's going to be like an extra long summer.
Oh, yes. And a lot of us are not very patient, and we're not very good at homeschooling. Myself included.
No, I'm over it. I'm over it too. I'm over it.
And I don't know about our listeners, but my school's online program, they use Schoology, and it has been like failing. I don't know if it's because they can't support the number of people who are trying to use it right now, but there's some issues. So we have some really good resources for you in case you are having some similar issues, either A, with your school's programs not working, or B, like in Washington State right now with a lot of my family, they don't have any guidance for curriculum from their schools. So my number one is the Khan Academy. That's spelt Khan Academy. I have used this resource myself. It's 100% free, and I used it to study for the LSAT, but they also have it geared for kids for certain categories. So like preschoolers all the way up to seniors in high school and beyond. They have curriculum set up that is, like I said, 100% free. And Amber, this is the best part about it because there is no political agenda being pushed. It is straight up just math and reading and writing and all of that.
That's awesome.
If you need to study for certain science courses, or if you want to prep for the ACT or the SAT, which I know they're not exactly doing that right now, but when it does open up and you want to prep, all of these courses are free. And I couldn't recommend them enough.
That's awesome.
Another free program, Scholastic is doing some online reading that is available, as well as PBS Kids Daily Newsletter, which in addition to having in-home activities, they also have crafts from a lot of common items you can find in your household, which is great. Lastly, we have a language software that is free called Duolingo. I've used Duolingo for a couple years now. They have so many.
I've used them before.
They're great. I've used them for both Spanish and for Russian, and I cannot recommend them enough. It's an app that you can put on your phone. So like Amber, you use Duolingo. How do you like it?
I loved it. It practices a lot of basic words to begin with, and then you start trying to put them together. But I mean, you can go as fast or as slow as you need to. A lot of times when you want to learn a new language, it can be kind of intimidating, but they make it really, really easy to use and really easy to learn.
It's fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first started Russian, I butchered the crap out of that. It was so bad. I was like super cocky from Spanish. I'm like, yeah, I got this. And then like I couldn't even say coffee right. And it's damn near the same word. So it's a great program, and it's user friendly for all ages.
Yes.
You know, but when it comes down to it, for most homeschoolers, when you are not in high school, the recommended time is about 2 to 3 hours of studying from home. That is the equivalent to the in-school curriculum. If you are a high schooler, that jumps up to 3 to 4 hours, which is mind-blowing considering how long they are gone at school.
Mm-hmm.
But it is doable. There are also other things you can do to fill the void. So one thing I've been doing a little bit more with Gavin is teaching him how to cook, because a home ec is not as prevalent as it is in school today, and the amount of kids who don't even know how to boil pasta is kind of abysmal. So Amber, what are some of the things you've been doing with your kids at home during this time?
They both have always loved to try and be in the kitchen with me and cook and bake. And Tyler even got his own little easy bake oven for Christmas.
I remember those. Those were awesome.
Yes. And I just found the mixes for them. So, but they've always loved to help me cook and mix things. And also, when you are having to scrounge up some meals that may not always be what you think they would eat, them helping you cook makes them want to eat it more.
I am so glad that you brought up that point, because Gavin, for some reason in his little head, got this idea that bacon is gross. He used to love bacon.
What?
But at his school, they started serving turkey bacon. And so for whatever reason, he thinks, oh, turkey bacon is what? No. But once I had him start actually cooking the bacon and being in charge, you're right. They want to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
So parents out there who are listening to this, if you have a picky eater at home, Amber brings up an amazing point for you. If you have them cook that themselves, there's that sense of pride. I kid you not. It helps. It really does.
I mean, you could start with something so simple as a scrambled egg, one single scrambled egg. And Carter, unfortunately, got a really bad burn on his arm the other day because he wanted to help and he went to grab the lid. So be careful with younger ones. He's 3. But, you know, my eldest, who's 8, he's wanting to learn how to cook more. And so I've been letting him help me more lately. And he loves doing educational games. I've never let them just play regular video games right now, just because my eldest can get really moody with some of the I'm trying to think of the right word to say. He has like some behavioral issues that falls along with
Yeah.
autism. And so if he has too much TV and it's not enough education where he's learning something, he
It's
goes completely off his
overstimulating.
rocker. Yes, it's
Yeah.
overstimulating. And then we get more tantrums, we get more fighting, and things get tense around the house. So allowing him to help me more and be able to do things where he's learning new things, that has really helped with our time at home.
Well, and there's a lot of really good documentaries that are family friendly that you can find either on Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, as well as Netflix right now. I mean, Tiger King is not a family friendly documentary, but you know what I want. There are ones that are like Planet Earth, right? That's a great documentary series. And there's a lot of really good resources out there, and as well as some free trials if you don't have any of those big 3 streaming services. A lot of them are offering 7 to 30-day free packages, so definitely give them a try.
I have heard that the government's working with some internet providers, allowing parents to have access to internet for their children to be able to do schoolwork at home. And so you may be able to stream some things off of YouTube as well.
Well, Verizon is our provider for our cell phones, and they actually sent out an email, I want to say like a week and a half ago, stating that they weren't going to have any limits on Wi-Fi data, which is huge.
Yeah, that is.
That's a big hit for the company. So that's their way of saying, hey, go ahead and stream with us, and you'll be okay, if you're on Wi-Fi. So for Verizon users, that is a plus right now. And I think some of the other providers are doing that as well. So, Amber, we have a lot of free time on our hands. We could be doing things productive, like organizing closets, which I said I was going to organize my linen closet, but that obviously didn't happen. I have been trying to focus on some hobbies for me time to fill the void.
Right.
And reading the comment section of Facebook is not a hobby, though I do sometimes consider it as such.
Oh, yeah.
And
it gets really comical sometimes.
I have made it almost like a personal goal of mine to troll the internet trolls. The hours of my life have gone by as a result.
That's hilarious.
But there are some hobbies out there that don't cost money that you can do from home. So I am a big CrossFitter. I don't really hide that. I really enjoy the CrossFit lifestyle because it varies the type of workouts you can do. And the CrossFit website right now is offering at-home workouts using pretty much just your body weight that you can do. That's 100% free. Another thing I've been doing recently is yoga. So I have a little yoga mat, but you don't honestly need a yoga mat to do yoga. But there are a lot of free resources for you on YouTube that you can use for yoga. And so one thing, when I was pregnant with Gavin, I had lower back pain. And this last fire season, my lower back pain came back. So I don't know if you had the same experience, Amber, with your pregnancies. But
I had a pinched nerve in my lower back, so
yep.
The back pain got worse the farther along I was pregnant.
So for the mamas out there with the lower back or maybe even the hip pain, yoga, I swear to you, is a fantastic tool. And you can even specialize and type in like, hey, what's a good yoga for lower back or hip pain? And I kid you not, they pop up.
My hips rotate forward a lot, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it's because I have a huge ass. I do. So my chiropractor was telling me my hips are it's rotating forward. And so I do end up with a lot of hip pain. And I actually, I used to do yoga all the time. And I was also in really good shape. It gets you limber. It stretches muscles you forgot you had. And it's really, I mean, it's amazing. Just, I don't,
I agree. When
yeah.
I don't do yoga for a while, my lower back pain starts up again. Like I never had a back injury. It's just this pain that occurs, right?
Hmm.
And yoga helps with that. It calms that. And I've heard that from a lot of people, but like anything, fitness, yoga, you name it, you fall off the bandwagon and it comes
I
back.
just got to get back on the bandwagon.
It's just it's getting back into that habit. And they say it takes roughly 30 days for a habit to form. And a lot of people want to start big, but and I did this research on YouTube a couple weeks ago. I don't want to necessarily do a 60-minute yoga session. There's a lot of 10 to 15-minute power yoga sessions
Yeah.
that are pretty freaking effective. So if you don't want to commit to the big time block, not that we don't have time, but there are 10 to 15-minute sections that you can do. The other hobby that I wanted to bring up is writing. Either a blog or a book, it doesn't matter. Ladies, I kid you not, if you ever wanted to write something, put your thoughts onto the keyboard or paper, now is the time to do so.
I used to be huge into creative writing, and in times of stress and anxiety, which I've had anxiety basically my whole life, writing was a huge relief for me.
Oh, definitely.
And so, writing, whether it's just a small poem or a paragraph, just a page of how you have felt for the day. Like at the end of the day, write down how you think today went and how it's made you feel and what you think you might could do to make things a little bit different tomorrow, how you could have reacted to something different, or, just to get your head together. Writing could be a great tool.
It really is. And one thing I want to put out there is it seems like a daunting task at first, but you got to start from somewhere. And there are a lot of places that you can go to start even something like a blog that are free resources to you. And to any member of our Drinking Mommies community, if you have a blog or a poem or something that you would want to share, please feel free to submit it to us. And we would love to share your stuff, giving you full credit, of course, on our social media pages. Just a thought. Are there any other hobbies, Amber, that you would think of during this time? That would be a really good thing to pick up.
Zach and I have always loved to paint, and we've gotten little canvases and acrylic paint at the Dollar Tree. So, it can be cost effective. I noticed at Walmart that I went for a color one day, and a week later I went back and like more than half of them were gone. I was like, what the heck? But we do love to paint a canvas every once in a while.
It's very therapeutic, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You can just like completely lose yourself in it. I used to paint when I had some really big stress and anxiety in my life, and I haven't probably touched the canvas in all honesty about 3 years. But
You should see some of Zach's work,
yeah,
really.
I would love to. I didn't even know he painted.
He can't.
It's art to him. We call that modern art or abstract art.
So if you mess up, let it dry and then just paint over and give it a clean slate.
Layering.
I also quilt.
Okay.
And
I cannot do that. But I appreciate it.
I actually find it pretty peaceful. I am not an expert by all means yet, but I do really enjoy sitting at the sewing machine trying to create something.
That's awesome.
And Zach has a bunch of these t-shirts when he wore a size small. He shouldn't have, but he wore a size small, and he wants to keep all his t-shirts and he wants me to quilt them together. So maybe I'll finally be able to get those t-shirts out and put them together. And I mean, they have tons of crafts for kids with toilet paper rolls. Girls, you can make them into little bracelets. You can shape them into making stamps. You can get some finger paint at the Dollar Tree.
Right.
And have them do little stamp art. You know, I saw where they could make bunny rabbits for Easter, and I mean, just little things
To keep it going.
so yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, is just if you're going to pick up an old hobby again, maintain or start a new one, you just got to get started. And that's what it comes down to. We've been in self-isolation for, oh my goodness, probably pretty close to 4 weeks now. And for the first 2 weeks, I didn't do anything besides drink and binge watch Netflix. And now I'm bored. It's bad when you get bored of social media and Netflix.
I started painting my hallway, finally.
Heck yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
that's why I needed that painting ladder. I just have to do the crown molding.
Crown molding's a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. It is a total
I'm 5'2", and it's a narrow hallway with no light. So
but hey, it's getting done. I'm going to do my linen closet at some point. I've got so many blankets and towels in there that have honestly never been used that need to get donated to like the Goodwill or a thrift store. It's on my to-do list. I'm going to get there. Now,
yeah.
Honestly, ladies, what it comes down to is we are giving you a lot of suggestions of things you can do, resources for you and your family. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you.
Yes.
If you want to just sit there and drink wine and continue to watch Netflix, you do you. Mental health is also a very important tool.
Oh, yeah.
If that is out of whack, everything's out of whack. So do not feel guilty. If you have moms out there who are making these amazing like Van Gogh-like crafts, or who are organizing their entire kitchen or master bedroom closets, good on them. But you don't have to be that. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. And that's also something that's important to remember. And honestly, with that being said, I think we're all going to get through this. It's going to take some time. They're saying maybe end of May, maybe the end of summer, though I really hope not.
Oh, I know.
I really hope not. But we just got to take it one day at a time.
Yes.
Now, Amber, do you have any parting words for our audience before we set them off on their way? I was trying to think of some good parting words.
I was really just distracted because my 3-year-old is turning the lights on and off here in the sunroom because he can get to them in the hallway. So he's turning the lights
off. He says, "Mommy, you're done. I need food."
He's been fed. That's it. We've already had supper. Oh, well, all we can do is, check on your mom friends. Video chatting is a good way, or even just a phone call, to those who normally are very sociable.
Right.
I have a friend that she's always on the go somewhere, doing something, talking to somebody, visiting somebody, and she's going completely stir crazy. So she's been video chatting and
face wine.
Yes.
Get the FaceTime up and you drink some wine.
Yes. And just we're all in this together, whether people believe it or not. Everybody's going through it. Everybody is at home, or I actually saw at the gas station close to my mom's house, there's these humongous trucks. I mean, lifted and giant wheels, big trucks, and everybody's sitting in a chair 6 feet apart in a circle in the parking lot of the gas station, and they're all just talking.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great.
Hey, as long as you're 6 feet apart, you cannot get in trouble. So, if you need to I saw a picture of a group of moms. They all had hatchbacks or a tailgate that they could sit on. They were 6 feet apart, and they had snacks, and they sat there and talked. If you feel like you need to get out, but
right, you. Yep.
Yeah. And it is not going to hurt kids to finally get outside and play in some dirt, or, just get back to your roots,
Right.
whatever you're comfortable with.
Even my son is getting bored of electronics, and I think that's wonderful because it's forcing him to play with all these dang toys that he's gotten from relatives over the years that he
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily play with a lot before, and he's wanting to go outside more, which is great. So there is definitely some silver linings here, as well as sparking creativity. Like I started writing on my own book again, and I put that thing down for a couple of years, and there's good. There's good that
Yeah.
can come from this.
You can make a list of a scavenger hunt of them, to find things outside, find a pebble, find a stick, pick a flower that's, a specific color if you know that's in your yard and
Yep.
stuff. So
There's some great family bonding opportunities that can also happen as well.
mm-hmm.
So, to our listeners out there, I really, really hope that you've enjoyed the show tonight. We have
Yes.
definitely had a bit of fun, and I have had a full glass of wine drinking during this
I'm
show.
on my second.
I'm having a great time. If you have any comments, please feel the need to share below, as well as to share the podcast. And if you have any ideas for future shows, we would absolutely love to hear from you. If there's anyone else out there, like I said before, who is writing a blog or writing a book and would like to have that shared on our Drinking Mommy social media pages, please be like, don't hesitate to send it. We would love to share and support any of your work. We're all in this together, especially during these times. So take care, ladies. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Have a wonderful night.